Hi, my name's Michelle. Welcome to a little anatomy and physiology coffee talk. Today we're going to be discussing the skin and its accessories as well as the four main tissue types. So we're going to start off with the skin. Okay, and this is my attempt at, at making the three layers of the skin. The epidermis is this yellow here down to the green, and then this pink section here is your dermal or dermis, and then the hypodermis is the last layer down here. So the epidermis is the outer layer of the skin. It is a protective layer, and it is made up of different layers, obviously. As you can see here, we've got the top layer, which is the stratum corneum, and this is going to be dead cells that are sloughing off, and they're keratinized. All of these cells down here are called keratinocytes, with the exception of the basal layer, and that's because they make keratin, which is the fiber, the protein fiber that makes your nails strong. It gives your hair strength and your skin some of its properties as well. This light blue thin layer here would only be found in the palms of your hand and the soles of your feet. So thick skin, it's your stratum lucidium. The next layer is your stratum granulosum. It's got a grainy appearance, and that is due to changes in the cells as they're being pushed up further. Then we have our stratum spinosum. You can't quite see it on the model here, but it has a spiny edge, and that's from desmosomes, which is what connects the cells together. They kind of lock like fingers. And then down here, we've got our deepest layer, which is the stratum basal, and it connects directly to the dermal papilla. Next layer is your dermis. It's made up of two layers. So the first layer is papillary, the second layer is reticular. So I remember that as pappy is retired. Your papillary is made up of loose areolar tissue, and then the bottom is the reticular is irregular, dense connective tissue fiber, and it makes like a crisscross pattern, kind of like a net. Then the last layer is going to be your hypodermis or your subcutaneous. When I was in school, we were taught it was the subcutaneous, and we were taught that remember it because fat isn't cute, and your subcutaneous is primarily adipose tissue, which your body stores for uses for fat storage, and it's cushioning and protection for the body, and it connects directly to the fascia or fascia below, which connects to your muscles and your skeletal system. And if we turn this around very carefully, hopefully nothing falls off, we have some of the accessory structures of your skin. So again, this is your dermis your epidermis, which is made up of epithelial tissues, which we'll go over in a minute. And then we get down into the dermal and then the hypodermis down here. So one of the main accessories for the skin would be the hair. Your hair, this is the shaft, the part that you see that sticks up. It's made up of three parts. It has a medulla, which is a central core. Then there is the cortex, which is surrounding the medulla. And then your outer layer is your cuticle. And your cuticle is what gives your hair its texture. Attached to the hair fiber here, or the hair follicle rather, you'll see that there is a sebaceous gland, and those secrete sebum, which is a fatty-like substance that our body uses to protect. It provides moisturization and a little bit of like waterproofing. You can see that we've got our hair bulb and our papilla, and the papilla supplies blood to the bulb and the hair matrix. And that's down here, and that would be coming up from the adipose layer or hypodermis. Over here we have a melanocyte. A melanocyte is what produces melanin. That's what gives our hair and skin its color or pigment. Over here we have Merkel cells. Merkel cells, that's this pink one here. Merkel cells are part of your touch, your sensory. I did forget, attached to their follicle is your erector pili muscle, and that is what gives you goosebumps. You've got a sensory nerve fiber here, this kind of orangey color. Okay, this is an eccrine sweat gland. An eccrine sweat gland is found all over the body. It is primarily or more prominent in your hands, your feet, and your forehead. It's used primarily to cool the body. So, of course, when we sweat, the sweat is evaporated, pulling the heat away with it, which cools us down. Then we have our Meissner's corpuscle, which kind of reminds me of like a flower, and it is responsible for your light touch sensation. Oh no, Merkel cell down. Then we have your Pacinian corpuscle, which is down deeper, and it senses vibration as well as deeper touch. And then around here, if this was under your arm or in your groin area around your genitals, where the hair is thicker and denser, you would have apocrine sweat glands instead of eccrine sweat glands. And what they do is their primary job is to lubricate those hairs in those areas. So that is a quick rundown on the skin and its layers and accessories. Now we're going to move on to our 4 main tissue types. So the 4 main tissue types that we have are going to be epithelial, connective tissue, muscle tissue, and nervous tissue. And we're going to get into those next.